The Russian military released a video Saturday showing servicemen walking through destroyed districts of Sudzha, a key town in the Kursk border region that Russia claims to have retaken from Ukrainian troops earlier this week. According to Associated Press Sudzha, with a reported population of about 5,000 people before the offensive, was the biggest town seized by Kiev's forces last year as part of their surprise cross-border offensive. Ukraine's top military commander, General Oleksandr Syrskyi, on Thursday said Russian aircraft conducted so many strikes on Kursk that Sudzha had been almost completely destroyed. He did not comment on whether Ukraine still controlled the settlement but said his country was maneuvering troops to more advantageous lines. The Russian army, backed by North Korean troops, are now close to completely driving Ukrainian forces from their foothold in the Kursk region in what would be a major setback for Kiev. U.S. President Donald Trump said Friday that thousands of Ukrainian troops are surrounded by the Russian military, adding that he has strongly requested Russian President Vladimir Putin to spare their lives. Hours later, Putin told the National Security Council that Moscow is willing to do that if Ukrainian troops in the Kursk region lay down arms and surrender. Ukraine's General Staff, however, denied Friday that its forces in Kursk are encircled by Moscow's troops. The Russian army, in an attempt to drive the Ukrainian armed forces out of Sudzha, almost completely destroyed the city with airstrikes. That is, it did the same thing as it did with many occupied settlements in Ukraine. While the Ministry of Defense of the aggressor country reports on the capture of Sudzha, a video of the destruction in this settlement has appeared on the internet. The footage clearly shows that the city has been turned into virtually complete ruins, with practically no surviving civilian buildings left. The head of the Center for Disaster Relief at the National Security and Defense Council, Andrei Kovalenko, commenting on the footage that appeared on social networks, noted that the Russian army practically destroyed Sudzha. Kovalenko also said that the Ukrainian command makes decisions on the operation in Kursk region in accordance with the operational situation. The situation there is currently dynamic. In addition, the occupiers are forcing battles in the border area of Sumy Oblast. The Ukrainian armed forces are responding to these attacks, inflicting losses on the enemy. Parts of the Kursk region have been under Ukrainian control since August, when Ukraine's military mounted a surprise cross-border offensive and quickly captured approximately 500 square miles of land, including the town of Sudzha. At the time, the move was seen as an attempt to stretch Russian forces thin across multiple fronts, especially as Ukrainian forces were steadily losing ground elsewhere on their own territory. Holding Russian territory was also seen as a potential bargaining chip for Ukraine in any eventual ceasefire talks. Russian forces, bolstered by North Korean soldiers, have been battling to try to retake the land and recently stepped up an offensive to push Ukrainian troops out of the region, as Kiev reeled from the Trump administration's decision to freeze U.S. intelligence and military assistance to Ukraine. With the situation in Sudzha increasingly precarious for Ukraine's troops, in recent days Ukrainian officials have suggested an openness to a retreat. President Vladimir V. Putin, dressed in fatigues, visited a command post near the front in Kursk. He praised the Russian military formations that had taken back much of the territory captured by Ukraine in the region and called on the troops to seize back all the territory occupied by Ukraine in Kursk for good. A military training ground used as a torture chamber has come under drone attacks in Russia's Nizhny Novgorod region, ASTRA Telegram channel reported on Friday. The training ground and a military unit in Mulino were attacked on March 14 during the day. There have been no official confirmation of the attack. However, Russian Federal Air Transport Agency had reported earlier that Strogino Airport temporarily was not receiving or dispatching flights. It is unknown if there were any casualties as a result of the attack. Earlier, ASTRA reported the discovery of a torture chamber on the territory of Unit 36994 in Mulino in Russia's Nizhny Novgorod, where wounded conscripts were handcuffed to a radiator and beaten in a destroyed building on the headquarters grounds. ASTRA quoted, citing open data, that the 333rd Combat Training Center of the Western Military District is located in Mulino, Nizhny Novgorod region. The channel described Mulino a unique facility, the likes of which does not exist in Russia or in the world. The training ground was initially built before the sanctions imposed on Russia, with the involvement of the German Rheinmetall Defense Electronics enterprise, that created the entire layout of the project, according to ASTRA. The center combines traditional training grounds with modern computer technologies. Complex simulators recreate the battlefield in 3D, and the physical environment includes models of cities and towns for tactical exercises. The training ground, measuring 34 by 27 kilometers, is equipped with tank training grounds, water training grounds, and various training zones. The center's capacity is up to 3 brigades per year, with the ability to train 700 servicemen simultaneously and prepare 30,000 people annually, ASTRA reported.